Hey guys, this is JSer. How's everything going? In this video, I'm going to solve another problem on BFE.dev. It's implement Promise.allSettled. I've already solved the problem about Promise.all. So if you're interested, please search on my channel. There's a video for that. This problem is number 33 on BFE.dev. The Promise.allSettled method returns a promise that resolves after all of the given promises have either fulfilled or rejected, with an array of objects that each describes the outcome of each promise. So it's different from promise all. In promise all, once error occurs, the final rejection will be triggered right away, and all the rest, result, fulfillment or rejection, will all be ignored. But in all settled, all the promise will be waited until they rejected or resolved. As a consequence, so the data that the promise all settled pass on to the then handlers is not the values directly. It's a wrapper object wrapped with the status. So let's begin. We're given the input of promises, which might be anything other than a promise, and we need to return an array of wrappers. The wrappers wrap the value or the reason with the status of fulfilled or rejected. So the same as what we did in the promise all. We just return the promise, and then we determine when will we resolve or reject. And we will use an array to keep track of the fulfillment or rejection, and we will chain all the promises up. So for now, we suppose all the input are promises. To do later, handle non-promises. Okay. Promises equals. I'll do that later. Okay, so for all promises, we will chain them up. For each promise, we will chain them with a fulfill handler, and a reject handler. So promise, and then this is the value. This is the error. I would say this reason. I like to call it, yeah, reason is okay. So we don't need a flag to keep track of the error status. So we only need the index here. But we need, okay, and then when it is resolved, we set the result, right? So result index is the value, and then we need to do resolved after all are settled, right? And how can we do this? Well, because the result is array without the order, the promises might be fulfilled in any order. We cannot depend on the result.length, right? Yeah, we keep track of the unsettled promise count equals promises.length. Okay, so if we decrement it, and if it's 0, which means this is the last promise that to be resolved, to be fulfilled, we will, okay, we just resolve, right? So resolve the result. Cool. And for rejection, we're doing the same. We'll keep the reason. This is the reason. We need to wrap the value and status. So the status here, oh no, sorry, index is status. This is fulfilled. This is value. Cool. And for rejection, we're doing the same with the status of rejected, and this is the reason, right? I can't, yeah. Cool. And unsettled promise count, decrement it, and if this is the last promise that is this rejected, we should resolve it also as well. And finally, yeah, resolve. This can only resolve, right? Yeah, that's it. And we now need to handle the non-promises, as if the input is not promised, it should be treated as a resolved value. So I will say I will map it to item. If item instance of a promise, then I will say it's the promise. If not, I will just say promise to resolve it right away, right? Resolve item. Promise resolve. Cool. So this is it. Let me review my code one more time before I run it. Promise map. If it is promise, we use it. If not, we resolve it. We wrap it with a promise. Return a promise. Keep all the results in this result array. Keep count. Keep track of the. Okay, I should use this. Keep track of the unsettled input promise count. And for each promise, we chain them up for as a fulfill handler and the rejection handler. For a fulfill handler, we set the result with status fulfilled. For rejection, we set the status to rejected, and decrement the unsettled promise count. If the last one to be fulfilled or reject, we just resolve. Yeah, I think this should work. Something isn't right. Okay, all settle empty should resolve right away. Yeah. I forgot the empty case. Yeah. So if promises is input is empty, then we just return promise resolved empty. Great. Yeah, we're accepted. So this is an interesting problem. I think this is it. Hope it helps. See you next time. Bye-bye.